Yali Madad. So we will share a book on pillars of Islam. Those who do not have it, inshallah, will bring it next week. I would like us to go back to the lecture and where we talked about pillars. We actually missed talking about Rosa, and then Khayal has something beautiful to share with us. So let's talk about Rosa first, and then we'll ask Khayal to share.
When we were talking about the 7 pillars, we missed one. We didn't talk about Rosa. So what does Rosa mean, number one, and how did it change from the Shariat into our Hakikat? So Rosa literally means restrain yourself. Stop from doing something. Stop from doing something or restrain yourself from doing something. So at the time of Shariat and at the time of Prophet Muhammad, the shape of Rosa was different, whatever the need of the time was, and that was not to excessively eating all the time or eating a lot of food. If today someone says, I'm doing the Rosa, but he or she eats all night long, from sunset to sunrise, and then say, I'm doing a Rosa, what are you doing? You are mocking Allah by saying, I'm doing a Rosa. Because you are supposed to restrain yourself from something. But what are you doing? You just have changed your day into night. Now you're eating all night and you're not eating all day. Matter of fact, you are sleeping all day. So this is not the Rosa. Again, in our Tariqah, Imam has changed the shape of the Rosa. And if you look at the Pir Bindiyat Jawamardi again, Imam Muslim Sibila is telling us how to keep the Rosa. And he's saying, a Mu'min keeps the Rosa 360 days, meaning every day of the year, of his eyes, of his ears, of his tongue, of his thought, of his heart. And he gives a list of things to keep the Rosa of. Meaning, restrain your eyes from doing the bad deed. Restrain your ears from listening to bad deeds. Restrain your tongue from doing the bad deeds. Restrain your heart from doing the bad deed. Because Rosa literally meant to restrain yourself from something. And that something is to restrain yourself from doing the bad deeds. And then when Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah came, may our soul be sacrificed to the Imam, he said, keep the Rosa of 365 days. Again, every day of the week, every day of the year, to make sure the moment does Rosa, meaning he does something that he does not do things that he should not be doing. And that is on every single day. You cannot say, I'm going to do Rosa for 30 days, and then I'm open to do whatever I want to do. That is not the purpose of the Rosa. Rosa, if you look at the Quran, it will say, do the Rosa, do your namaz, pay your zakat, so you may purify yourself. So Rosa was a mean to get to the taharat or to purify ourselves. In the Quran, Rosa has a different level of the meaning. Because Rosa also means to stop from doing something. And in the Quran it says, when you get to the month of Ramzan, when you get to the month of Ramzan, or when you find Ramzan, keep Rosa. What do you mean when you find Ramzan? We knew Ramzan was coming a year ago, 11 months ago, 10 months ago. But Quran says when you find Ramzan, keep Rosa. Ramzan is the name or the title of Mullah Ali. So in Quran it says, when you find Ali, meaning when you find his nur, when you find his batin, when you have his didar, restrain yourself for telling others. Mullah Baba क्या बोलते हैं? अगर आपको कुछ मिले इबादत में, अपने तक रखें. Do you see that? This Farman and the Farman of the Quran is same. Restrain yourself. So when you find Ali, restrain yourself.
So it's getting to the recognition of Imam at a higher level. When you get there, you restrain yourself from telling those who are not at that level.
And that is a Farman, right? Okay. Only discuss that with the people who know.
And Imam gives the opposite thing. You know Hallaj. He was treated as a heretic, which means don't do that.
Yeah.
Good, very good.
Yeah. So Roza has a different level of meaning in Hakikat where we stand today compared to in Shariat. So since we had left it out, we just wanted to cover it.
Just read what I sent you.
Sure, explain.
Okay, I'm just going to read out something. It's from Nasir Khusro, who wrote a book, Wajidin.
Read Nasir Khusro.
Nasir Khusro, sorry, for Nasir Khusro. And he talks about wuzu, which is ablution, and it's related to taharat because taharat means purification. So let me just read out where I wrote this a little while back. It says, below, pure Nasir Khusro gives an important ta'wil of ablution, which is relevant for Ismailis today because we live in a time where there's currently no external or zahiri practice of wuzu before doing prayer. Yet, according to the ta'wil given below, through the act of bayat to the imam, one is generally performing ablutions. More specifically, of course, one must fulfill or take full advantage of the terms of the bayat and seek to actually cleanse oneself of spiritual impurities through esoteric, batini knowledge of ta'wil. I'm going to read the quote from the Wajidin. Nasir Khusro says, by the grace of God, may He be exalted, we say that ablution is the door to salat, just as Islam is the door to Iman. The zahir or exoteric aspect of ablution is to wash with water and wipe with it when it is available, and when it is unavailable, to do it with dust. The batin or esoteric aspect of ablution, on the whole, is to pledge the covenant to the Lord of the time, and to be averse to the enemies of the awliya of God. Salat, on the whole, signifies attaching oneself to the awliya of God. Ablution is not permissible except with pure water, which signifies the knowledge of ta'wil. Bodily impurities are cleansed with pure water, while spiritual impurities are cleansed with the knowledge of ta'wil. Just as exoteric salat is impermissible without having performed ablutions, listening to the true knowledge, which is the esoteric salat, is impermissible without pledging the covenant to the Imam of the time. Bodily impurities are caused by the passing of urine, feces, blood, pus, and wind, whereas spiritual impurities are due to ignorance, disobedience, doubt, polytheism, anthropomorphism, renouncing the friends of his friends, and befriending the enemies of the faith. The chosen prophet, God's blessings and peace be upon him, and his progeny has said, there is no ablution except with intention, niyat. The ta'wil of intention is love for the true family, whose walayat God has made obligatory upon the believers. No act is acceptable to him without their walayat. He who intends to perform ablutions says, Bismillah, by God's name. The name of God is the Imam of the time, the Wasi and the Prophet, each in his own time, because God is recognized through them, just as things are recognized by their names. The utterance of Bismillah by the believers during ablution signifies their belief that it is only through his wali that they can reach the extent where they can purify themselves from the enemies of the awliya of God. End quote. So in essence here, pledging the bayah to the Imam is like our purifying ourselves from our spiritual and also intellectual impurities. And by intellectual impurities, we have to then take it further. We pledge the bayah to the Imam, but then it's expected to take benefit from what the Tariqah gives us. And all the things that the knowledge, the true knowledge that we get and we search for, removes these false concepts from our mind. And if I'm not mistaken, I think in the Suladan Farman, there's one place where Imam Sultan Masha says something to the effect of the essence of religion is to abandon false concepts. So that's a lifelong journey. We're abandoning our false concepts. That, throughout life we hear so many things we were saying earlier. There's so much information that comes out and knowledge we might see from all these books that are coming out online, and easy to get all this information. But sometimes those knowledge, it might be knowledge to some, but for us it might not be the correct, true, pure knowledge. And that can sort of dull our thinking into the wrong way. So the essence is to abandon these concepts. But you can't abandon a concept unless you get replaced with a proper concept. So the search for knowledge is actually the true intellectual ablution is what we're expected to do today.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, very well said. So now the question, it's 8 o'clock, so do we want to continue for one more session or do we want to end here? How do we feel about it? Do you want to continue? But if others?
I think today's Sunday, yeah?
Today's Sunday, yeah.